Hello guys, and welcome back. It's me, Bushcraft, with another video. Yes, welcome back to the channel. It is time to start going over the things that will be in short demand or extremely high or whatever the thing may be. You can blame it on tariffs, climate control, you know. Trump is taking all the labor workers and sending them home and things like that. Some of these may have issues. Some of them may not. It is what it is. And we have to figure out, you know, some of the stuff that we want to prepare for if we want to have these things. So I figured I would do some research and do a list of shortages we'll see in 2025. So let's go ahead and get started with this. Okay, our first one, and these are experts, you know, and there's quite a few articles out about this. In 2025, as the outlet reports, these are outlets that distribute food and whatnot to grocery stores and stuff. And what they're saying is one of the key factors in many farms, they rely on migrant workers. And they're saying Trump sending all the migrant workers out back home, you know, across the border and stuff. Well, it may be true in some cases, but he didn't go after the migrant workers that are, you know, doing a good job and working and everything. He went after the criminals. Again, you can believe what you want or anything. You can go, if you're in the areas with these farms that use migrant workers, you'll see them out there. So believe what you want. And one of the things that they're calling for is like berries and apples. They're going to be disappearing in our shelves in 2025. You may see some here and there, but it's not going to be like big amounts. And these are places that are not by any farms, like private farms or anything, to where they bring these berries to farmers markets and fruit stands and stuff like this. This is, you know, the main grocery store areas in the major cities. They won't see as much of berries and fruit and some kind of different types of apples and stuff. Our next one is almonds and other water intensive crops. Again, these are experts calling for this. Now, the drought has impacted a lot of nuts like almonds and things like that, because it takes quite a bit to produce an almond, right? So if they have a drought one year, the next year crops tend to, you know, dissipate from the previous, and you see shortage in those types of nuts. The same thing with corn. The same thing with soybeans. A drought one year can impact the following years. It takes a lot more to get the soil up to par after a very bad year, because it takes so much out of the soil. It's just not, well, we had a bad year, we had drought, the next year will be fine. It takes a lot more, excuse me, a lot more to get the next crop going. Our next one is bananas and tropical produce. And again, these are experts saying the extreme weather events in tropical regions are expected to disrupt the growth and supply of bananas and similar commodities. And yeah, it does. Higher prices for bananas, various fruits, vegetables, herbs, and spices, as well as nuts and oils. A lot of stuff that comes from the tropical areas have been hit quite a bit in the last few years. And they're expecting this year to be just as bad, if not worse. And here we go with the kitty cat. Come on, get up here already. That being said, come on. You always have to interrupt me. At least say hi to everybody. Say hi. You don't want to say hi. He just wants to lay down. Okay. A lot of this, we're going to have issues with that type of produce. And again, they're going to put out tariffs, but a lot of these places that we get tropical stuff from, the tariffs, it's not a thing. But the tariffs will have an impact on some of the other items that we bring up. 4 would be processed fruits, nuts, and cereal products. I remember when cereal used to be the cheapest thing you could get for breakfast. Seriously. It's $7-8 for a box. And if you get name brand stuff, and I'm not talking about the sweet kitty stuff, I mean something that's healthy, it's almost $10. And some of it is $10 and higher. And again, possible tariffs on goods from Mexico and Canada might increase prices and reduce the availability of these processed cereals, fruits, and nuts. Yeah, Trump's plan implemented 25% tariffs, on Mexico and Canada. What people don't understand with these tariffs, when he says 25%, we'll start at a base at 100. Okay, say we'll use Japan. Japan charges us like over 300% tariffs on stuff that we export to them. Okay. We, in hand, give them breaks and everything. This is before Trump. I'll put it that way. I don't know how it's going to pan out with Trump here or not. But say we charge them like 40%, I think it was, for certain things. 40%. And that was high on the high meter of stuff. There's stuff that is like 10% tariffs or anything like that. So when Trump says he's going to raise it by 25% or 35% or 50% or 100%, that's still not even close to what the other countries are charging us. So why is that so bad? Why can't it be an even amount? We charge you 100%. You charge us 100%. Even Steven. But it doesn't work that way. Anyways, like I said, with this shortage, the tariffs, we will see increases on prices on stuff. It's just the way it is. The money has to come somewhere, and unfortunately it comes from the consumer. And already fruits and nuts are already going to be short commodity. Cereal, it's already been this way. Breads and grains will be the same, even though this is not in this category. But in the last 4 or 5 years, with the Ukraine thing going on, our bins of grains and stuff has been depleted. So we are going to start seeing a major shortage on that type of stuff, or price increase, which will be probably first. You'll see a price hike on a lot of this stuff. So this is the time, if you wanted to stock up on flour and grains and stuff like that, this would be the time to do it. Our next thing would be fish and crustaceans. Yes, a significant number of these goods come from China. Potentially tariffs and international trade conflicts might lead to their reduction. And those who don't live next to the ocean and stuff, the people who are on the inside of the United States and not on the coastal areas will see a shortage on fish that they see in their grocery store. And, lobsters and scallops and shrimp and stuff like that. I'm sure you guys could already see the price of shrimp and lobster going up, those who can afford lobster. And produce. And these are, because I have been doing recalls and outbreaks and stuff, we are going to see an extremely high impact on foodborne illnesses and recalls this year. They are talking about this being the highest the country has ever seen. I feel like doing a Trump speech. The highest it's ever seen in the United States. Recalls triggered by E. coli and Listeria outbreaks have already led to temporary shortages of carrots, onions, walnuts, specialty items like, all that kind of stuff. More outbreaks can lead to shortages, primarily due to lack of traceability and transparency. Again, if you watch the videos I do with the outbreaks and recalls, you see a trend where our government is supposed to be, the FDA is supposed to be that all-powerful thing that gives us the best food and blah, 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 blah. But it takes them 2 to 3 years to find out where the Listeria came from, or the E. coli, or whatever it came from, and what food in that product led to people getting sick and dying. And they don't tell you where it comes from in the first year, what food it was, or anything. And that is causing major issues. And I don't mean to be picking on Canada or any other country, but you see how much of the recalls are coming from Canada nowadays. We have our fair share here in the United States, You're going to start seeing it everywhere, and of course they're gonna blame it on climate or labor shortages, whatever the case may be. But the more of this that we see, the more these items are going to stop becoming on the shelves. Um, Now, there are a list of garlic, again, carrots, celery, all the lettuces and cabbages and all that stuff, um, walnuts. There's so many different varieties of different things that you're gonna start seeing less and less of. Used to be when you went into the grocery store and you would see a whole aisle of canned vegetables. You would see all kinds of different things that, you know, not the normal corn and carrots and peas and things like that, but there would be specialty stuff that you wouldn't see anywhere else. Now the aisle has shrunken so much. It's just in a little area, and it's just carrots, corn, peas, green beans, the normal stuff. And we're going to start seeing less and less of those, because of, instead of bringing you a variety of different things, they are going to dumb it down, so to speak, and just give you the basics. So and I probably sound like a broken record, if you want these things, you're going to have to grow them yourself, which is probably better. I'm not saying that you're going to have this stuff all year round, but unless you live in very nice climate areas, but you can grow them, you can can them, you can dehydrate them, freeze dry them if you're rich, those types of things, to where you know where that food came from. You know how it was grown. You know how it was picked. You know there wasn't a worker in the field taking a dump because they're not allowed to have breaks or whatever they say it is. You believe it or not, that's a lot of ways how these things happen for these recalls and stuff. Again, like I said, with our grains and things, not to mention our corn. Majority of our corn nowadays is grown for ethanol, and other oils and stuff. Um, that has went down so much. We need to start growing these things for ourselves and not relying on the grocery store. Um, so think about this. Okay, think very hard on this. If they were to close grocery stores for a month, could you survive? You couldn't get food anywhere else but the grocery store. Um, for what you got in your house right now, could you survive a month? And that is, not going to the store and picking up some butter, or going to the store and getting some milk, or, you know, once a week little ventures into the grocery stores to pick up stuff for the week. None of that. You can't go to the store for none of that. Could you survive comfortably for that month? If you're sitting there thinking about it, and you're struggling to think if you could, then you may have a problem. And if that's the case, then it's time to start thinking about, the big prepping word, prep some stuff and put it back. And again, you don't have to have tons and tons of money to go out and get food to put back. I'll probably be doing some videos on cheap ways on how to prepare. But right now, this is the list. This is what they're saying, a lot of this food. And I know that there is a lot more to come throughout the year that will be increasing on this list. But for now, I'm going to shut up because I've been blabbing too long. And we're going to leave it at that. God bless. See you on the next one.